Debunking House of Dragons Accuracy, a Historical Analysis. Here's a script for the podcast. Intro 00030. Welcome to Artificial Radio, where we dive into the world of historical fiction and analyze its accuracy. Today, we are tackling one of the hottest topics in the fantasy world, House of Dragons, the prequel to Game of Thrones. Let's start by setting the stage. House of Dragons is set in the 10th century, more than 4 centuries before the events of Game of Thrones. It follows the story of House Targaryen, a powerful family from the island of Dragonstone, as they navigate the complexities of politics and power. Now, I want to dive right into the controversy surrounding the show's accuracy. One of the most glaring issues is the depiction of the Targaryen dragons. While dragons are a crucial part of the show, they're not exactly historical figures. However, the show does draw inspiration from real-life dragons, or at least the concept of dragons. In medieval Europe, dragons were often associated with mythology and folklore. They were seen as fire-breathing creatures, often depicted in art and literature as a symbol of power and destruction. This mythological representation of dragons has its roots in ancient cultures like Mesopotamia and Egypt, where dragons were often associated with the gods. Another area where the show's accuracy is questionable is the politics of the Targaryen court. While the show does depict a complex web of alliances and rivalries, it takes creative liberties with the historical record. One notable example is the depiction of the Great Council, a gathering of nobles that ruled Westeros during the Grioy Rebellion. In the show, the Great Council is largely portrayed as a chaotic and disorderly gathering, with various factions jostling for power. However, historical records suggest that the Great Council was a much more structured and formal process, with established protocols and rules. The Targaryen court itself also takes some liberties with history. The show portrays the Targaryens as a relatively isolated and reclusive family, largely concerned with their own internal power struggles. However, historical records suggest that the Targaryens were actually quite influential in Westeros during the 10th century, playing a key role in shaping the island's politics and culture. Now, let's talk about the show's take on the traditional concept of history. In House of Dragons, we see the Targaryens portrayed as largely powerless against the looming threat of their own extinction. This parallels the real-life narrative of the Targaryen decline, where the family struggled to maintain its grip on power in the face of external threats. However, I think the show does take a more nuanced approach to the concept of history than some of its viewers may realize. By portraying the Targaryens as struggling to maintain their power, the show highlights the fragility of historical narratives and the dangers of simplistic or reductionist interpretations. In conclusion, while House of Dragons takes some creative liberties with historical accuracy, it's also clear that the show draws inspiration from real-life historical events and cultural traditions. I think this is one of the strengths of the show. It successfully weaves together myth and history to create a compelling narrative. What do you guys think? Do you agree with our take on House of Dragons accuracy? Or do you think the show gets it right? Let us know in the comments. Outro 6070. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Artificial Radio, where we explored the complex web of history and myths surrounding House of Dragons. Join us next time as we dive into another fascinating topic.